23. Then in those days, the multitude being very great, and having nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples to him, and said to them, I have compassion on the multitude, because they have now been with me 3 days, and have nothing to eat. And if I send them away fasting to their own houses, they will faint by the way, for divers of them come from afar. I will not send them away fasting. And his disciples answered him, From where would we satisfy so great a multitude with so much bread here in the wilderness? And Jesus asked them, How many loaves have you? And they said, 7, and a few little fishes. And he commanded the people to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves, and gave thanks, and broke them, and gave to his disciples to set before them. And the disciples did set them before the people. And they had a few small fishes, and he blessed, and commanded to set them also before them. So they did all eat, and were filled. And they took up of the broken meat that was left 7 baskets full. And they that had eaten were about 4,000 men, beside women and children. And he sent the multitude away, and immediately he entered into a ship with his disciples, and came into the parts of Dalmanutha, the coasts of Magdala. And the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came forth, and began to question with him, seeking of him that he would show them a sign from heaven, tempting him. He sighed deeply in his spirit, and he answered and said to them, Why does this generation seek after a sign? When it is evening, you say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O you hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times? Verily I say to you, a wicked and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and there shall be no sign given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah. After these things Jesus left them, and entering into the ship again departed to the other side, and he walked in Galilee, for he would not walk in Jewry, because the Jews sought to kill him. Now when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread, neither had they in the ship with them more than 1 loaf. Then Jesus charged them, saying, Take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees, and of the leaven of Herod. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have taken no bread. And when Jesus knew it, he said to them, O you of little faith, why reason you among yourselves, because you have brought no bread? Do you not yet perceive, neither understand? Have you your heart yet hardened? Having eyes see you not, and having ears hear you not? And do you not remember, when I broke the 5 loaves among the 5,000, how many baskets full of fragments took you up? They say to him, 12. And when the 7 loaves among the 4,000, how many baskets full of fragments took you up? And they said, 7. And he said to them, How is it that you do not understand that I spoke it not to you concerning bread, that you should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then understood they how that he bid them not beware of the leaven of the bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And he comes to Bethsaida, and they bring a blind man to him, and besought him to touch him. And he took the blind man by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes, and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw anything. And he looked up, and said, I see men as trees walking. After that he put his hands again upon his eyes, and made him look up. And he was restored, and saw every man clearly. And he sent him away to his house, saying, Neither go into the town, nor tell it to any in the town. And Jesus went out, and his disciples, and came into the town of the coasts of Caesarea Philippi. And it came to pass, as he was alone praying by the way, his disciples were with him. And he asked them, saying, Whom do the people say that I, the Son of Man, am? They answered and said, Some, John the Baptist, but some, Elijah, and others, Jeremiah, or that one of the old prophets is risen again. He says to them, But whom say you that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said to him, You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said to him, Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed it to you, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also to you, that you are Peter, And upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give to you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Then he straitly charged his disciples, and commanded them that they should tell no man of him, that he was Jesus the Christ. From that time forth began Jesus to show to his disciples how that he must go to Jerusalem, and suffer, and be slain, saying, The Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised again the third day. And he spoke that saying openly. Then Peter took him, and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from you, Lord, this shall not be to you. But when he had turned about and looked on his disciples, he rebuked Peter, saying, Get you behind me, Satan, you are an offense to me, for you savor not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. Then when Jesus had called the people to him with his disciples also, he said to them all, If any will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross daily, and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world, and lose his own soul, or be cast away? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he shall come in his own glory with the holy angels, and in the glory of his Father. And then he shall reward every man according to his works. And he said to them, But verily I say to you of a truth, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death, till they have seen the kingdom of God come with power, and the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.